Hey, what's going on, guys? Noah here, and we're back for another deck profile video. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I just got a little sick of YouTube, and it was kind of tedious with school and stuff. But anyway, we're doing a deck profile on a deck called Decidueye Zoroark. So, if you guys forgot, Decidueye, let me get this to focus. There we go. Decidueye's Feather Arrow says once per turn, you can put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So that's pretty good. Basically, you do it high damage with Zoroark, medium high damage, and you snipe it with Feather Arrow. So that could get a lot of damage out at one time. You can also spread and stuff. It's pretty fun playing this deck. So let's get right into it. So first off, got 4 copies of Rowlet. This is the one from Sun and Moon. I think this is the only one. There's also some promo ones, but this is the best one. So, Rowlet's a 60 HP grass Pokemon, and I'm not going to read the attacks because you won't be really using the attacks much. So, nothing to really say about Rowlet, but he evolves into Dartrix. So, Dartrix is a 80 HP grass stage 1 Pokemon, and he evolves from Rowlet. Sharp-Blade Quill says it does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's pretty good for just if you're in a desperate situation, you can just throw a grass energy on him and use that and maybe get some chip damage before you get your Decidueyes out. I wouldn't be using it though. You'd be in a pretty desperate situation if you're using Dartrix attacks. So, and to finish off the line, we got 4 copies of Decidueye GX. So, like I said before, Decidueye's Feather Arrow says you can once per turn you can do a you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Razor Leaf for 1 grass energy and 2 colorless energies says you can do 90 damage. And Hollow Hunt is basically the only GX attack you can be using because like you don't run dark energies in this deck. Hollow Hunt says that you can put, let me see what this is. You can put 3. Let me get this to focus. Put 3 cards from your discard pile in your hand. So when you discard stuff and you need it back really quick, just use that GX attack. So yeah. Next up, we have 3 copies of Zora. So basically, this is the one from Shiny Legends. This is the promo one, but the one from Shiny Legends, it's exactly the same. Really not much to say here. It's a 60 HP dark basic Pokemon that evolves into Zoroark and Zoroark GX. So the one we're running is Zoroark GX. So what Zoroark GX says, if I can get this to focus. You know, you just be seeing this card a lot because it's a really popular card right now. 210 Stage 2 GX Pokemon. Its ability trait is really good. You can discard 1 card from your hand. If you do, you can draw 2 more cards. That's really good for draw acceleration. And I never knew how to say this attack. Riotous Beating. I think it's Riotous Beating. I'll be saying Riotous Beating for the rest of this video. For 2 colorless, it's 20 damage for each Pokemon in play. You can do max 120 with a choice band 150. So that's really good. And with the chip damage of Decidueye, you'll be getting knockouts in no time. So next up, got 2 copies of Tapu Lele. A competitive deck is not complete without Tapu Lele unless you're playing Greninja. So you know what it does. Wonder Tag. You can search your deck for a supporter card when you play this guy into your bench. An Energy Drive is a pretty decent attack. Does 20 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. It's pretty good if your opponent's stacking energy. And for our Tech 1 Pokemon, we got 1 copy of Tapu Koko. It's pretty good. It's got free retreats. It's a good retreat. It's a good retreater, I guess you can say. Let me get this to focus, if it will ever focus. Please focus. There we go. Okay, for 2 colorless, it does 20 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon. So that's really the only attack you could be using. It's 110 HP basic electric Pokemon. Next we have, you won't be seeing EXs a lot, but this is like one of the better ones that we still have. Espeon EX. So, Miraculous Shine, you can devolve your opponent's evolved Pokemon and put the high stage evolution on it back into your opponent's hand. So, basically, devolve your opponent's Pokemon. One, if they use Red Candy, they're pretty much screwed. And 2, when you get that chip damage from Decidueye, where you're spreading damage, you can just use Miraculous Shine, devolve them, and then their basic Pokemon's dead. If they're playing like Zoroark or something, you just get 60 damage on one of them. You can do Miraculous Shine, knock out the Zoroark. So that's pretty good. And then we have one copy of Mewtwo from Evolutions. This is like the one card that everyone's playing right now from Evolutions. Just because of the fact that Buzzwole GX is a thing, and yeah. So for 2 colors, it does 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. This cannot get a Buzzwole if it has 3 energy attached to it because of weakness. So that's pretty good. So we're done with the not supporters. We're done with the Pokemon. I can't talk today. So for the supporters, we have 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, standard card, discard your hand, and draw 7 cards. It's pretty standard stuff. Got 4 copies of N. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck and draws a card for each of her remaining prize cards. So that's also a pretty standard card. 2 copies of Bridget. Everyone's been seeing Bridget pop up everywhere ever since someone said, oh, it's really good because GXs don't count for that one basic EX rule, so everyone's been using it. Search your deck for 1 basic EX Pokemon or 3 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Really good for setting up first turn. You can Lele for it, or if you just draw into it. It's pretty good. 2 copies of Guzma. Pretty standard card right now. It's like the new Lysander. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, your opponent has to switch. You get to pick though. And then 1 copy, this is pretty weird, but 1 copy of Mallow. A lot of Zoroark GX decks play Mallow because you could just search your deck for the 2 cards you want to draw, and then trade 1 card away from your hand, and then you get those 2 cards. So that's a pretty good card at the moment. Got 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Pretty standard card right now. It's always been a standard card. Discard 2 cards in your hand. Search your deck for Pokemon, put it in your hand. Pretty standard card. Next up, we have... Let me get it. Got 3 copies of Rare Candy. Basically, you can skip Stage 1 evolution when you evolve. When you play this card. So you can choose one of your basic Pokemon and evolve into a Stage 2. There's an errata. It says choose. You can evolve into a Stage 1 on this card. This is an older card. There was an errata on the card. This is the real new one. Yeah. Basically what I said. You can't evolve into a Stage 1. Next up, we got 3 copies of Max Potion. Heal all damage from one of your Pokemon. If you do, discard all energy from that Pokemon. Pretty standard in Decidueye decks. Just get all damage off your Decidueyes. Next up, we have 2 copies of Field Blower. Choose up to 2 in any combination of Tool and Stadium cards in play, yours and your opponent, and discard them. It's pretty good for getting tools off stadiums, off the field. We got, for our Tech 1s, we have 1 copy of Special Charge. Our special energies are really important in this deck, so you want to get them back into the deck. If your Pokemon gets knocked out with one of them on him, if I can get this to focus. Focus, please. There we go. Shuffle 2 special energies. Sorry, can't talk. Shuffle 2 special energy cards from your discard pile in your deck. Next up, we have, this is pretty weird. Most decks run 2 or 3. I run 1 copy of Evosoda. I don't think it's like that important. I'm thinking about switching up the count for this. So that's one of the things you could do with the deck. Search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. Basically, it's like that Rare Candy, but you can search for it, and it doesn't evolve into Stage 2. So, finally, we got 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher. You know, you all know what Rescue Stretcher does if you're playing the game right now. A lot of people use it. If I can get the focus. Please focus, camera. I'm using the G7X Mark II. It's a new camera, so I'm trying to get everything to work here. Choose 1. The first option is put a Pokemon from your discard pile in your hand. Second option, shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. You get your Pokemon back. And for tools, we got 2 copies of Choice Band. You do 30 damage to 30 more damage to GX and EX Pokemon in the active position. And then we got 2 copies of Floatstone. Pretty standard Pokemon this card is attached to, has no retreat cost. Pretty good for your Decidueyes and all the other cards that have retreat costs. So for our energies, we have 4 copies of DCE. Basically, this gives you 2 colorless energies. So yeah. And finally, for our last cards, we have 3 copies of Grass Energy. So if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, I placed 3rd at a League Cup with it, so I think I did pretty well with it. One thing I would change, again, is I would put more Evo Sodas in the deck, but that's just me. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button down below. Comment on which deck I should build next. And until next time, guys, go ahead and catch them all.